Oh, yeah, it's Friday, baby. And you know what that means? The Print Factory, talking betting and DFS with the crew, Big T at Big T 44 DFS and ODB at AU David B on Twitter. You like that, ODB, right? I got your Twitter right.
You got it.
I got it, baby. I worked on that for like 2 minutes before we went on. I swear to God, I was in the mirror working on that one. But now at least I know what the AU stands for. But we'll move on from that. Tony, we had Thursday night football last night, and me and you were both super high on the Broncos. I felt like that was maybe the easiest island game we've had all year from like a betting standpoint, not from a DFS standpoint, from a betting standpoint, because that game went almost exactly. I now not exactly how I thought, because I didn't think Denver was going to run for like 120 yards on the ground in the first half. I did not see that coming, but I did see Denver winning and winning somewhat handily. So for betting, it was a pretty good night. I'm assuming for you as well.
Yeah, it's been how it's been going for me. The betting's been going really good, and the DFS not so much. It's kind of shifted where it's like that. I was just mad at myself too, because the script was so freaking easy. Like, love Denver. I just had no doubt whatsoever they were going to crush them. And I don't play any Javonte really. It's like, that's just an user error. It's just bad fantasy. It's just bad by me. Like, how do you not play? I love the defense. Defense, even in the captain, I loved. Why the hell wouldn't you play any Javonte? Just because of coach talk about freaking Estime? I just don't. It's just stupid. It's user.
I don't think it was that. I don't think it was user error, and I don't think it was coach speak. I think it was no one saw Denver just running over.
I mean, I did though. Like, I knew they were going to
with
own
the run game. They haven't had a run game all year. They literally haven't had a run game all year.
I was only scared because there was 3 of them. New Orleans has been getting just gashed on the ground. Tampa just ran for 900 on them. Like, and I knew they weren't going to score. I didn't like Denver's passing game. Like, you talk it back, and I'm an idiot. Like, you know, I'm not getting out of this one because I deserve to lose. You can't have all the takes I had yesterday and then not play any Denver running game. It's just bad. It's bad from me. It was an easy winner. I made money on the night betting for sure because of it. And we got screwed on the under too. It should have gone under. We should have double dipped that. But I mean, very, very happy with my betting takes. Last week, my game of the week too was Denver losing to the Chargers blowout. It wasn't a blowout, but it was an easy win. Fantasy, I just can't believe I didn't play any Javonte. But the good thing is I wouldn't have had the nut anyways, though, because I wouldn't have played the 2 receivers that ended up in the winner together. So it wouldn't have mattered. It's just more structure than anything. I can't believe it's bad by me. I shouldn't have not played any Javonte.
The Cedric Wilson touchdown late was very tilting. I had a ton of Mason tipped into. Like, he was the guy I played pretty much over those other New Orleans receivers. So but I didn't have any Javonte like you. So, that kind of, I thought it could have been a Will Lutz is the nuts type of game. I mean, you needed him, but not in the captain, obviously. And I had him and Ville were my 2 main captains. So Ville, obviously not that good. I mean, when you run for that many yards, the passing game in general.
New Orleans wasn't going to freaking score, though. Like, if they're not going to score, Denver's not going to throw. It was just, I'm so mad at myself about it.
Yeah, well, it didn't help that they didn't need to throw because they were running the ball so well. Again, that's to my point of, like, you like Bonix, when they're running the football that well, why are you going to, throw the ball all over the yard with Bonix?
New Orleans was just never going to score, though. Like, just...
I know. I'm just saying, though, we knew Denver was going to score. We just didn't know that they were going to run in like 3 touchdowns or whatever. But ODB, were you on the Broncos with us? I obviously didn't get your take from last night's game. How'd that go?
Yeah, of course I'm on the Broncos. Broncos were my preseason team to surprise. My biggest future,
baby.
Biggest future over 5.5 Broncos, and looking good. We got 4 wins in a row. 4-2. No, I guess we're not 4 wins in a row.
What are we, 3-3? You got stomped last week.
4-3. 4-3.
Your Broncos last week on me. They tried to bail you out last night with a W, but you're not hiding from my Chargers.
But last night was. I just kind of got scared because everybody was on the Broncos. I felt like one of those too easy spots. But like I talked about last week, Spencer Rattler, not a real NFL quarterback, and then no weapons at all. I would have liked Bonix a lot. I really like the way that he runs the football. I mean, he gets pigeonholed into this Drew Brees category because he throws a lot of short patterns. He's got Sean Payton, but he's not. That guy's mobile. They call running plays for him. He's got a sneaky floor as a quarterback on an offense that's not that good. I would say, I know I'm going to be on an island here, but rest of the season, I'd rather have Bo Nix and Anthony Richardson.
You're not going to be on an island here. Not on this show. You're definitely not going to be on an island.
And I don't even like Bo Nix that much, but like you're definitely not an island here. I just don't want to. Don't give me though that Bo Nix was amazing last night because me and Tony thought about this. He was not amazing last night.
No, he had a couple of
that bad.
I thought he was pretty good, honestly.
He had a couple bad throws, but look, are we judging by the whole work, or are we judging by the worst throws? I mean, if you want to judge by the worst throws, he missed a couple wide open guys.
And he threw the whole work for sure. I'm just saying the last night.
Yeah, look, he threw a ball right in the guy's gullet and he dropped it, and he also threw it right in the middle, overthrew the tight end, underthrew Franklin right in the middle there. That one got a lot of steam. He looked bad.
He's not going to be a pocket passer though. He is what he is.
Exactly.
The one where he was running though. So there was two passes that you just referred to. Both those passes, he threw it like in between two different guys. So you're like, wait. One of them, both guys were open. He just missed them in between. And then one of them, I don't think either guy was that open. And he threw it, like you said, right to the defender, who I think was just holy shit. He just threw it into literally the basket and just dropped it somehow. Because that was the easiest interception or easiest interception type you could have. But a lot of defenders say that the easiest ones are sometimes the hardest ones in reality.
I think we're going to keep getting value on the Broncos because as a general public, I don't really think they like the Broncos. They don't really like Nix, but look, sometimes they get down early and this team fights back. I mean, we saw it against Pittsburgh. They fought back and almost got there. When they were out of the game, they did the same thing versus the Chargers. This team doesn't really have quit in them like a lot of these NFL teams. So most of the time we're going to be catching points. I can't see Denver being favored a lot. So I like them. Sometimes they're in the game and they fight hard, and sometimes they get behind and they still fight hard. So there's going to be some warts along the way. But look, I mean, this is a team that people put as the bottom two team.
Hello,
in the NFL.
Someone's here. Knock, knock.
It sounds like we have an Amazon delivery. It must be daylight outside.
Seriously. But I get those every day. My wife orders shit to the house every day. I swear to God, I get packages every day. Same.
So yeah, I think we're going to catch some. I think we're going to catch some good stuff here with Denver. I think this is a team that I think they had the second lowest win total in the AFC next to the Patriots, and they're battling for a playoff spot. So I think we're going to keep catching some good numbers here, and I'm going to keep riding this team. Because I think they're feisty. I really thought JSU might have the nuts in that game because I know we spent the last 3 years with JSU blowing Javonte Williams every chance we could. Yeah. So, I mean, he finally gets a lead role. He gets everything set up, and you just.
I think it was what Tony said with the 3 running backs, and they haven't been running the football efficiently. And I knew the Saints were bad. I knew it right away when I watched it. I was like, oh my God, Denver's just going to move this ball up and down the field. It's just if they don't score, they're going to kick 1 billion field goals because they're going to always move the ball, until they get to that 20 to 30 yard line and stuff. And that's where they were struggling. Right. And so I was like, if they don't, it's going to be a bunch of field goals. And if they score, then man, there's going to be some good opportunity here. I just didn't think it was just going to be Javonte like that, where they were just riding him. So sometimes you get shit wrong. What are you going to do? All right. That's that. I think it was, where is this comment here? Brad's telling me, don't use up all my energy early. I'll try not to, Brad. I do my best, but sometimes I can't help myself. These guys get the best of me sometimes, and I start going off. Let's go to the first game on the main slate here. Detroit and Minnesota. We'll start off with a banger here. Minnesota -1.5 at home. You can make the argument that Minnesota's been the most surprising and one of the best offensive and defensive teams to this point. The combo between their offense looking really good and their defense looking amazing as well. And, that's why I'm pretty sure still undefeated. And Detroit coming in looking amazing after just killing the Cowboys. I mean, like, that was embarrassing. It was to the point where I think they used up every trick play they had in the bag, but they were all working. Like normally when you do trick plays, guys, one or two of them might work, but like you're not going like 100% on these trick plays. And they literally went, I felt like 100% on like every trick play that they had. I think the one to Penei Sewell, there might have been a penalty, but even that worked or something like that. It was embarrassing. And it reminded me kind of, and I'm sure you guys remember that, I felt like the New England Patriots back when they had those dominant teams, they would just whoop on the really bad teams. Like they would just absolutely destroy them and make it look really bad. And I felt like that when watching the Lions. I was like, it kind of brings me back to like those type of teams where they were just putting a whooping on an inferior football team, which was the Cowboys. So now they get a good test here. Minnesota in Minnesota. Line's 1.5. ODB, I'll throw it to you first here. I know you like the Vikings. I know you like the Lions. What are you doing here with this game?
Well, last week I gave out Lions as my favorite game of the year so far and came through easy. It was exactly what I thought. Dan Campbell took the Cowboys ref show cheating last year with the them costing the game with the tackle eligible, and he made it personal. And he just decided to teabag every one of them. I mean, it was really just came down to that. He was just like, I'm just going to just put it right on you. I'm going to embarrass you. And I'm going to show you that we got jobbed last year. And they did. Whole different animal here with Minnesota, though. I mean, it's hard for me when I legitimately think the Lions are the best team in the NFL. To say that I'm not going to take them in essentially a pick'em game. I think the home field's worth a couple points, and that's what they're getting here. So it's essentially, you're basically telling me that in the power rankings, Minnesota and Detroit are equal. I mean, really does suck that they lost Hutchinson. I mean, I think that might, I hope that just doesn't ruin them mentally. And like, it's easy to be down after that. I mean, you could lose anybody else on that team, and I don't think it would have the impact just mentally. He's like a team leader. That being said, though, we're still getting the best team in the NFL at a pick'em. I just can't pass it up. I know Minnesota's really good. I know Brian Flores is really good. It's going to be a great game. It's going to be a fun game, a game that I could see DFS, doing whatever you want. I mean, this game's going to shoot out. Obviously, it's really tough because it's super expensive. But yeah, I really think that Detroit is the best team in the NFL, and I have to just take them here. There's no worry about them looking past this game. It's not like they played a tough fought game on Sunday. I mean, I know Minnesota had the bye, but Detroit basically had a bye too. So yeah,
they had fun. ODB. They didn't have a bye. They had fun.
Yeah.
That was literally probably for an offense as much, and a defense too, probably as much fun as you could have on an NFL field.
I'm pretty sure the Vikings beat them at the end of last year too in an important game. Maybe I don't know. I know they're not going to be looking past this team. We still got Sam Darnold, who I think is really good, and I think he's a good player, and I think he's going to be good. But it's still Sam Darnold. Versus this Lions team. I trust the Lions offense to figure out Flores, and I trust the Lions defense to do enough. I think the Lions win a shootout here. So I'm just going to take the points and wear the plus money line and go from there.
So Detroit did go 2-0 against Minnesota last year, just
Okay.
to go there.
So
but they did play them. That was I think it was their last game of the season was Minnesota. But they did win that game 30-20, and they beat them, I think, in week 16, 30-24. So yeah, Detroit.
Maybe it was just closer than supposed to.
It was probably closer than we all thought, probably. But Tony, I mean, no Aiden Hutchinson. This Detroit defense, I know it was the Cowboys last week and they looked really good, but man, Aiden Hutchinson out. The defense was already kind of struggling, especially in the secondary. And if they lose their best pass rusher and they're getting less pressure on the quarterback, I think we're going to get some really fun Detroit Lions games. Like, I think we're going to get some spots where there's just points galore. And I love the over in this game. I think these are two really good teams. I think the over is the play. I see a lot of DFS plays too in this one. What do you like here?
Yeah, I hate to start with the disagreement of ODB right out of the gate after last week. We weren't holding hands all week, but I just think, man, they lost my boy Derek Barnes. They lost Hutch now. I just, man, it's gonna hit them. And I think last week was a little bit of a grudge match. I know it wasn't close, but I agreed with what we all said last week, where they just wanted revenge from that Dallas game. I think Minnesota is really good and well coached. I think Minnesota's defense is actually maybe the most underrated in all of football. Like, according to the numbers, my numbers, they're just super underrated on defense. And one of the keys for Detroit is to play from ahead so they can just pound that ground game. I love this spot for Minnesota coming off that game. I think Minnesota really gets after them, and I think it's an easy number too at 1.5. I don't think that's just not factoring the losses at all. And I know you shouldn't for most people, but man, Hutch is a big deal. I agree with ODB there. It's like losing a quarterback almost. I could argue these days, quarterback and defensive guy that gets pressure, those D linemen are the two most important, and wide receivers, but the most important positions. Losing Hutch is a massive loss. So I think if he was in, the spread would still be about similar to where it's at. It won't one either way in that range. So I don't think it really accounts for it enough. I do think there'll be points, though. I'm with you guys there. I think Detroit will score, but it's a high total. I think Minnesota might slow them. I don't love the over. I like Minnesota a lot. I like Jefferson a ton this week. I mean, if they don't get pressure, we always like Jefferson on this show. Stud receiver. I think he could have just a breakout game this week, though, like a 30+ this week.
So I kind of would lean with you with Minnesota. But again, I'm the over. And I know everyone like you, Jefferson is the play. But I'll tell you, if there's ever been an Amon-Ra St. Brown explosion spot, it's this spot right here that Tony talked about, where they're not just going to be, I don't know if they're going to be just up the whole game, being able to just run the football. They might be, but Minnesota plays the most too deep of any team in football by a good margin too. It's like almost 75% too high safety. That middle and in those short passes, J-Mo's taken a lot from Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta in general with the receiving game. But I think J-Mo gets taken away, especially those deep shots with that amount of too high. And Amon-Ra gets like peppered in this spot here. So Amon-Ra might be my favorite spend up of the entire slate. And Justin Jefferson might be second. Like, I literally think that those two guys might be the best two spend ups and guys that I'm going to prioritize trying to fit in my lineups, if at all possible, if I can find some value to go with it. Because I think that this, if any spot on the board looked like an Amon-Ra spot, and I know he's kind of been up and down this year fantasy-wise, and I just don't think this is the game where it's going to happen. I think he's going to have one of those monster games, probably 30+, and break out here. So I really like St. Brown. I'm betting his overs. Yeah.
I like that call a lot because They didn't really use him last week, and a lot of times you find with these teams that have so many weapons, whenever the guy doesn't play one week, they try to feature him the next week because these guys are fragile. And then George Pickens calling out Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if you saw that, but basically just saying that he's just gets these garbage quick pass. And I think that Dan Campbell seems like the most petty of all, which I love. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, he ran the tackle eligible plays just because I think he might just go, yeah, okay, George Pickens, let me show you what a real receiver looks like. And Amon-Ra might just drop like a big number on him. So I do really like him as well. I agree with your assessment.
To compound even more, I know I talk about my flow chart all the time, but Minnesota, the last 3 games, they had a bye last week, but 3 games before that, totally shut down the ground game. Even some good ground games like the Jets, totally shut them down and totally got destroyed by the pass. 3 straight top 5 pass performances against them. Everything you said, I totally agree with. It is a green light go spot for Amon-Ra. Now you're on. You ruined the whole thing by going on mute. We had all the mojo going, and you
I was just about to say too. I was just about to say too. The one last thing I'll say about this game: Minnesota's done a really good job of putting teams in positions where, to Tony's point, they kind of have to abandon the run because they're jumping up on teams so quick. But you'll see in those situations, the receivers have benefited massively, and they're like 7th or 8th in giving up receiving fantasy points. And you guys can't tell me that in a trailing script, it just doesn't set up for our boy Amon-Ra. So all these points just point me to the direction of Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I think I'm just gonna follow it and lock that dude on my team. So, all right, that's enough of this game. Good game to start, though. I'm really excited to watch that game. Let's go to a game that I'm not as excited to watch. Tennessee Titans and the Buffalo Bills here. 9.5 spread. Buffalo is at home. It's a 41 total in this game here. Amari Cooper traded to the Buffalo Bills. Now, I don't know if it's official, if he's going to play or not. I read something saying he's going to play for him because I read something yesterday.
That's what I read.
Okay, because I read something yesterday saying that they were unsure if he was going to play or not. But, okay, ODB saying that it looks like he's going to play. That's good for the Bills. From this game perspective, you got a 9.5-point spread. Tajay Spears, I think, is out for Tennessee, which sucks for my best ball teams. That's one reference to best ball. But, Tony, I'll start with you on this game. Are you just going favorite here, Buffalo rides, or we on the dog?
I mean, just talking pure bet side, I mean, this is where you can really line shop too, though, because it's 9. When it gets around these teaser numbers, this is where like using the unabated line board really, really gets you, because they try to move numbers around the teasers because they know everyone wants to do these 6-point teasers. So you can get 8.5 on like FanDuel, ESPN, the score. It's just such a freaking good teaser spot in these. And you don't have to do them all. Just pick like 2 teams, like the Bills at 8.5, and if you like Detroit in the last game, you can throw them in at 7.5 or something. But you're just getting such an advantage because a lot of these places might go off even like 10 by the time Sunday comes. So you can literally tease it down to 2.5 at FanDuel, and you're going to have over a touchdown of equity come Sunday. Like, it's just such a good spot. I know that's not a direct answer to the game, but that's still how I bet. So this is a betting show. This is where we talk about our winners. I love that spot. As far as the actual game, I mean, I love Buffalo in this spot. I freaking love them getting Amari Cooper because they just had no weapons. It's not going to happen right away, though. They got to get at least some used to each other a little bit, how the plays break down. Josh Allen rolls out. Seems like a perfect fit, though, long-term, because Coop likes to go deep. It just makes a lot of sense. And they already got underneath guys, Tupac and Kincaid, both underneath guys. They really, Keon Coleman really hasn't shown a ton deep, so they needed something deep. So I love the pickup. They didn't even have to really give up anything either. So I like Buffalo in this spot. I'm just never a guy that they struggle a little bit with the ground too. Tennessee wants to run. I don't know. Like, I'm not betting Tennessee for sure, but I'm also not going to lay 9.5. That's why I'd use the example of the teasers. Just if you like Buffalo, just find a way to tease it. Just you find an 8.5, tease it down, and then you don't have to lay the 9.5 or 10 by Sunday. So fantasy wise, I don't like it though. You can always play Josh Allen. I know the Ray Davis looked good, but Cook will be back. Cooper, they're going to work him in. I don't see anything fantasy wise. I mean, with the running game out, Pollard's only 6,300. I'm not playing a Tennessee running back though on the road in a 10-point dog spot. So I don't see a ton here outside of Buffalo teasers.
Yeah, and it looks like Buffalo's getting healthier. James Cook looks like he's good to go. Ed Oliver looks like he's going to be back. I think that's pretty big for their defensive line. Johnson, the cornerback, all these guys, Bernard, the linebacker, they're all expected to play, which is good for a lot of those guys. That defense, they definitely can use those guys back. So
Bo Nix or Will Levis, JSU?
Bo Nix. Will Levis is horrible.
We'll play this game the whole show because
play this
more than you'll realize that you like Bo Nix more than
play this game. No, it's not that. It's not that. I realized that I would probably take Bo Nix over a good amount of quarterbacks. It's not that. It's when you told me that he's like a good quarterback, and I was like, he's not a good quarterback.
When you actually look at all the quarterbacks these days, though, there's not that many good quarterbacks is the problem.
Well, there you go. We got to drop. Maybe then say like he's okay. Like he's okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Let's be honest. The difference between Bo Nix and Patrick Mahomes is very, very slim at this point.
Yeah, there we go.
It's very close.
ODB.
I mean, they both scramble. They both throw a few head-scratching interceptions, and they both move their team up and down the field, and they both score about 17 points a game. It's just
you see what they're trying to do to me.
They're literally the same. They're literally the same guy.
Do you see what they're trying to do to me, Brad? My energy levels seem fine. I got a good workout in this morning. I got a good workout in this afternoon. I was ready to go.
2 workouts already before the show.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to do a third one after we get
Another
on.
I'm ready to go for a 3-peat on a Friday going into the weekend?
That was just every day back in the day. That was JSU every day back when I was at the gym.
Workouts on a Friday before dinner?
I mean, God bless me with this. I got a home gym now. I got my basement set up for the boxing and the MMA shit I got down there. I got everything here, Tony. I don't have to leave my house ever, except for to get food. Like that's it.
You don't eat, so you don't have to do that either.
Only once a day. And I'll tell you right now, I'm actually on a grape fast. So a 48-hour grape fast. So grapes for 48 hours. I'm on it. I'll get back to you guys. I've never done this fast before.
And eating grapes on a Friday, ODB.
I've never done this fast before. I've done a bunch of different fasts. Never done this one before. I'm gonna try it out. I'll report back. So
grapes are delicious.
They are delicious. I
don't mind grapes, but it's not going to be the only thing I'm eating in a day.
No,
I can't see you doing grapes. I can't see you doing any fast, Tony. So I don't think you'll be testing out any fast. But ODB, do you like anything in this game here? Over, under 41, 9.5 spread? Anything?
I actually like Tennessee. I mean, I don't know how, but this game, I just think this is a really bad spot for Buffalo. I think they're coming in on a very short week where like that game was it was physical, it was emotional, they put everything they had into that week. Some would say they got lucky with calls, some would say that the Jets got lucky with calls to get out. It was just a terribly officiated game, terribly played game on discipline wise by both teams. I really think that this could be a game that Buffalo overlooks. Now, granted, they just have a lot of skill advantage over Tennessee, but look, this is the NFL in 2024, and we have seen all these big upsets happen when teams just don't quite prepare or don't quite focus. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but I think that we're going to get to the fourth quarter and this game's going to somehow be like 16-13, and we're going to look up and maybe Allen scores to bring them back. Maybe they don't. I don't know how it's going to happen. I mean, I agree. Will Levis is probably one of the, if not the worst quarterback in the NFL, maybe after Anthony Richardson. Yeah, he's bad. The team's bad, but their defense is kind of scrappy. Pollard is playing well. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I do think there's a chance that Buffalo is in a ball game here late. So I can get almost 10 points in an NFL football game in 2024 with a team coming off of an emotional high. I'm just going to take it. Like there are too many games that are close and upsets right now, and teams look by teams all the time. So that's kind of my cap here. It's not really football. It's more emotional and, spot oriented.
All right, there we go. Chat loving Tony's reactions when ODB says something that he's not in line with is great. But let's go to the next game here. Another shitty quarterback in this game. And no, it's not fucking Joe Burrow. We got the Bengals, 6-point favorites in Cleveland. It's a 41.5 total. Deshaun Watson losing his number one weapon. I think some of these Browns receivers might get some ownership for DFS just because of how cheap they are and losing Amari. But Deshaun Watson, I'll take Bonix over Deshaun Watson. You guys don't even have to ask that. I'll take Bonix. Deshaun Watson or Will Levis?
I'm pretty sure I would take everyone over Watson. I think he's my least favorite.
Anthony Richardson?
I would definitely take Richardson over Watson. He's at least young and can move a little.
He at least can throw the ball downfield and give his receiver a chance to make a big play.
I'm definitely not taking Deshaun Watson over him. And that says a lot because I hate Richardson. But
I thought I was going to get either Levis or Richardson out of you guys. I don't know if I take Levis over Watson.
I don't think I could take anyone over Watson outside of just the filler guys like Rattler. I'd probably take Rattler over him even. I can't take Watson.
Oof,
that's not even talking about his contract. You throw his contract in there, and you're really not picking anyone over him.
That's a good point. Well, yeah, forget the contract for a sec. Just quarterback.
Even without the contract, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Bryce Young, I would take Bryce Young in a second over Deshaun Watson, Brad.
Not tomorrow. Not in one game.
I might even take him in one game over Watson. I don't know about one game, but I would take him.
Yeah, I don't know about one game. I'm with ODB Deshaun there, Watson's
but awful.
So, okay, Cleveland's got a bunch of different issues going on. They got a running back issues, no forward. Chubb's coming back off the terrible injury with his leg. And I just don't think he's going to play very much. So even if he plays, which I think they're saying he will, I don't think he gets a ton of work first game back. But I also think that Cincinnati getting a little healthier, that defensive line looked a lot better to me last game against the Giants, especially with Hill back, fully healthy on the inside. I don't know if they're going to be as easy to run on game by game, and Cleveland's offensive line isn't what it used to be. So I'm going Bengals here. I can't take the Browns, but is it true Joe Burrow's never won a game in Cleveland? Is that true? I saw that stat.
Cleveland has owned the Bengals.
Yeah. All right. Tony, do you like the Browns here?
I mean, I can't like the Browns no matter what, but I do think this is a tough spot for the Bengals just because they've always been owned. We got this stupid number that always scares me. Bengals -5.5. I hate it. It always feels like a trap to me. Everyone's going to like Cincinnati in this spot just because Cleveland is awful. Cincinnati's been playing better. It is one of those spots, though. I just can't take Cleveland. So I just physically can't put money on the Cleveland Browns when they're this bad. But I also don't love Cincinnati in this spot. Cincinnati is a team, even though everyone says I'm a homer, I love them as an underdog. I would rather them name any team. You could name any team right now. If they were an underdog, I would like them. I'd rather be an underdog to the best team rather than a 5.5, 6-point favorite versus Browns on the road in division. So you got in division on the road. They just traded away Amari. I mean, if I had to bet the game, I would bet Cincinnati just because I can't bet Cleveland. But I am definitely not confident in this spot. I don't feel great about it. So fantasy wise, I mean, you can always play Jamar Chase. Chase Brown looked good last week, but I don't really think this is a Chase Brown spot. I don't love this game. I hope the Bengals go and get the job done, but I do not have a ton of conviction here.
ODB, do you have any conviction on this game, or are you with Tony?
No, I mean, Stefanski's game plan for Burrow and Higgins and Chase a lot they've done well versus them. So, little scary there, but I'm definitely not playing Cleveland either. I mean, this team may have just quit. I mean, what are you really telling your team to keep rolling out Watson and then trade Cooper? I do think that probably, I mean, there are so many good stars on this slate that you're going to have to go cheap some places. I mean, Njoku should get a ton of targets, should be very popular, but 4,100, I think, for Njoku seems like a smash. Elijah Moore is terrible at football, as a terrible quarterback, but he should be on the field every play, and there's a good chance that they're down, and the Bengals aren't very good on defense, so I think he's like 3,200. So, like, he seems fine. There are too many really good stars and good environments for me to look at in the Cincinnati side. But yeah, I mean, I like Cincinnati as a team, and I don't like Cleveland as a team, but this spot I don't really love. I hope they can get out of here with a win, though, so can continue to move forward on some Bengals futures potential.
Free Pac-Man, come on. Hashtag no Diddy, always. Yeah, all right. It's definitely going to be an interesting game for DFS, Tony. We'll probably talk about that a little more on the morning wood. Oh, what's the name? I forget the name. Cam. That's right.
Auburn.
Here's the bet.
Auburn, David Baker. Of course.
There's the best quarterback in Panther history, the best quarterback right here. And we got Andy Dalton as our thumbnail here. We should have Cam Newton.
We haven't gotten to that game yet. Don't prelude to the game that's the game of the week.
Oh my God.
It's the game of the week.
Cam Dog. Say hello to your fans.
Cam Dog, baby. What's up, Cam?
Dog in the house.
I was wondering where that noise was. It was Cam.
Yeah, she likes to grunt. She's a grunter.
Yeah.
She's grunting.
All right, let's get to the next game here. Sorry, Cam, it's not your Carolina Panthers. We'll get there in a little bit, but we're still on the 1:00 games here. Seattle and Atlanta, another big total in this one. 51 is the total in this game here. It's a 3-point spread. Seattle dogs in Atlanta. I think there's points in this game too.
What does Cam think about this game? I'm intrigued.
Cam's definitely got some takes on this game.
Cam loves this game.
ODB, you want to start us off here so we can get Cam's takes too on this game?
She's licking her lips. She sees points. She sees the Seattle defense that can't stop anybody, can't get off the field. Oh, you like Bijan? Yeah, I like Bijan too. Bijan, DK. I think a lot of points in this game. I think Atlanta can stop them maybe one extra time. So I lean Atlanta, but I mean, I'm just out on this. Seattle defense is so freaking porous. DFS standpoint, if you want to stack up this game, go ahead. I like Bijan. People are going to be scared of Bijan because of Algier. I'd take Mooney, even Pitts. Like, nobody wants to play Pitts because he sucks. But, Seattle can't stop anybody. I mean, the Giants just moved up and down the field against the Seattle team. I think this is a DK nuke spot too. I think Tyler Lockett's either hurt or out. JSN's kind of slipped back a little bit. DK, ran a bad route and caused an interception in that San Francisco game. I think this is time to just get DK off. So, and it's also good leverage off of Walker. Walker will probably be really popular, and rightfully so. You can play them both. I think this game shoots out, and I like Atlanta to win a shootout.
I think that DK Metcalf has the most touchdowns called back in the first 6 weeks of a season than any other receiver, maybe ever, because the guy's had 4 touchdowns in the last 2 games called back because of penalties or missed on because he fell at the half-inch yard line after being called a touchdown. Like, that dude has run pretty bad when it came to the old touchdowns here. So at some point, I kind of agree with ODB. I think that, he's going to get some good juju coming back around here. I like some DK Metcalf. Tony, I think this game could honestly come down to whoever has the ball last, because I think there's a lot of points in this game. So who do you like here, Seattle or Atlanta?
Yeah, these Atlanta spots are just going to be so good all year with the way they play, and Seattle. Seattle's got no D, so I'm with you guys. I don't really see any resistance either way, and it kind of matches up nice both ways. I mean, both teams have solid receivers, good running backs. It's just I don't see a way there's not points in this game. Drake London just looks like, if you take week 1 out, I mean, he's as good as anyone so far. He just gets so many targets. I still don't think he's hit like a full ceiling spot either. Like he's due for a game where he like just totally erupts for monster numbers, because he's run somewhat bad, even though he's got a ton of targets, and he's still put up monster numbers. So I'm going to keep playing Drake London every single week. Kirk Cousins too, 6,300. I like him. I probably won't like the running backs as much as others in this game, just because I love DK. The one issue, though, we talked about Jefferson and St. Brown in the other game. Now you got London. I mean, I'm always a pay up at receiver type guy anyways, but these guys, we like all these guys, and it's all receivers. So we're going to have to save somewhere to make it all happen. But I agree with you guys. I mean, I'm definitely not playing Kyle Pitts, but I see it. I mean, he's had a couple good games in a row. I just can't get on board with him, but I love points, love London. The Seattle, I like DK. So we got a lot of agreement here as far as overall.
Well, Drake London ceiling game. Tampa Bay, 12 receptions and 13 targets, touchdown, 154 yards, 36. That sounds like a ceiling for Drake London.
I blocked that game out of my head because of the ending where he got hurt and the other dude housed on me for $1 zillion.
Oh yeah, he left for like 2 plays, and that dude housed.
He left for one play,
whatever it was.
Yeah,
yeah.
He scored the next play on me.
It was like right where Drake London would have lined up to. Is the best part of the whole thing. Poor Tony.
Good thing is, if it was Drake London, I think I'd have lost too. So, but I would have felt better. I would have felt better if it was Drake London.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be out there. Yeah. So you definitely would have felt better. So do you have a lean on the game, Tony, or are you just points over?
I would like Atlanta if I had to pick, just because I think Atlanta's defense is at least slightly better than Seattle's, and they're at home. I think the offenses are very similar. Like how they're built, the quarterbacks are very similar. Everything about the teams is similar. Atlanta's at home, and I think their defense might be a hair better. So give me Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll take Seattle. I'll take the points with Seattle. I think these teams are very close, and I literally think it's going to come down to who has the ball last. But yeah, either way, good game for fantasy. Let's go to Miami and Indianapolis here. Colts 3-point favorites. 43.5 is the total here. We've got Anthony Richardson back, stepping in for Joe Flacco, who did his job. He did his job. He did what he could do. No JT though in this spot. Trey Sermon a little banged up. I'm assuming he's gonna give it a go though here, but we'll wait on that officially. And then you got guys like Josh Downs, who has the Q tag, but I think he's gonna play. Alec Pierce practiced today. After not practicing, we'll see if he goes. And then you got the Miami side, which Achane, I think they said he passed the concussion protocol, so he looks like he's trending towards playing. But they haven't really been able to do much without Tua. David Baker, can Miami muster up any type of offense without Tua Tagovailoa? Even though they have great skill position guys, like I've been told every week for the last couple weeks, even though they haven't done shit.
Well, I'm probably just going to take the same stance I've taken on every Colts game so far this year and just stay away because I have no freaking clue. I don't like this team. I don't like this quarterback. I don't like these skill players. I just don't like anything about them. But at the same time, they're going up against a shitty team. So, I mean, a shitty quarterback. So, and a bad defense. The one thing I like in this game, if you're playing tournaments, I'm not going to do it for my one lineup because I just, that's basically what I do. But if you're playing tournaments, Devon Achane has ceiling potential against an absolutely terrible rush defense. They had 2 weeks to design something. His legs are probably, he's just been in concussion protocol. It's not like he had a pulled hammy or anything that could re-aggravate. I think Achane could just smash at 0 ownership. So I think Achane is a nice play. I lean Dolphins if I have to do something, but I don't know. Just 2 teams with that I just don't really get that excited about. So I probably lean Dolphins with the points, and I do like Achane though.
It's kind of how I feel too. I'd probably lean the Dolphins with the points, but I don't love this game either. Tony, can you give us a little more confidence in this game here?
Yeah, I sent the tweet earlier. Once they announced Richardson in, you got to bet the Dolphins, baby. They coming off a bye too. Richardson, so it's literally as simple as that for me with the Colts. If Richardson's in, I'm going to bet against them. If Flacco's in, I'm going to bet on him. It's as bad as that sounds. Flacco is older than me. It is bad to say, but it's true. Like Flacco could win this game. Richardson stinks. I think Achane's a great play too. 6,700 is a key price point, and the defense is in play too against Richardson. 2,800. You got a low owned correlation right there between those two for pretty cheap off a bye. Miami's got to win this too. I know the season's probably over, but what if they look decent this week? Tua comes back. I don't know. I can make at least a tiny case for Miami coming back a little bit this year just because they still have players. I think this just has to be a Miami spot. I love Miami in here. And Achane and the Dolphins D, I can't play the receivers until Tua gets back, even though Tua sucks too, which is funny how bad quarterback is right now. But, yeah, you just can't play. Even Tyreek is in a great spot. He's somewhat cheap, and you still just can't play him. Waddle is 5,300. Maybe I could play Waddle just because of how cheap he is, but I don't like it. He would be more of a just filler type play if I landed on that price. I think Waddle, in theory, could get like 18 or something, though, at that price.
Yeah, in theory, Tyreek is in like one of the nut spots. Like that's how good this spot is. Like all these guys, this is a great spot for running backs and wide receivers because the Colts are just that bad on defense right now and giving up fantasy points. It's just, man, I just don't know how you pay these price tags for these top guys. Like I get what you're saying about Achane. It's going to be low owned. It's just they haven't paid off. I don't know if I can do it. I'll bet Miami though with you because I'm kind of with you on like if AR's in, bet against them. If Joe Flacco's in, bet on them. Joe Flacco. Let's put a little respect on Joe Flacco's name. He may be old, but that man can still sling it. Like he can still heave that friggin' thing down the field. So put a little respect on his name, especially since quarterback play has not been very good. We're friggin' telling us Bonix is better than like half the quarterbacks that are starting right now. So that just tells you everything you need to know about the status of quarterback play. So
he's better than everybody on these rosters.
Well, can't argue with you there. Let's go to the last 1:00 game I got on the slate. Eagles and Giants here. Giants at home, 3.5-point dogs. 43 is the total in this game. Eagles coming off a win, but man, did they not look good. If you watch that game, it was a tough game. A.J. Brown did his thing, though, coming back off of the injury, 26 fantasy points. He did his thing. Saquon struggled to get anything going last game. He got his former team here. I assume Saquon's going to get some.
He defended the honor of my flow chart, too, where I went on my whole speech about how it wasn't a good spot. And everyone in the chat was just riding me so hard about Saquon and the Browns D and all this. And it was glorious. He was the number one projected, and he just did nothing.
Is he number one projected this week?
Oh, I
got to be up there.
I haven't even finished the sheet yet this week, but he was number one last week and finished with 7 fantasy points. So he defended the honor of the flow chart out there for me.
He couldn't get anything going last week. So you were definitely right on Saquon. Will you be right again on Saquon this week? I don't know your thoughts. You just came in there hot about last week. So give us your take on this week since we're here.
So last week I liked Philly a little, but I hate Philly overall. I just don't think they're that good. And I think the Giants are very underrated. I really do. I think their defense is pretty good. You get Neighbors back. Tyrone Tracy looked really, really good last week. I was just impressed with their defense. Their defense was making plays. I think they're pretty well coached. Danny Dimes, their Bonix.
Honestly, I'd probably go Danny Dimes now at this point.
Dimes? ODB's going Bonix over Dimes.
Not forever, probably, but right now, Danny Dimes, yeah.
Danny Dimes now, but it's a tenuous hold on that spot.
But so I like the Giants in this spot. You get a pretty good number too, because Philly always gets too much respect with the odds makers, literally always. I mean, I can right now on DraftKings. So this is again where you can use the unabated. You can use it on our site, Run Pure Sports. Go up to the odds column for free on there. I think for everyone, it might only be bets, but I think for everybody, you can pull this up and see all the prices. It's 3 everywhere, except for DraftKings, where you can snag 3.5. Like, snag the extra half point. I know it takes a little work to pull this screen up, but you're getting an extra half point, which means a lot. And give me the 3.5 at DraftKings. I love the Giants in this spot. We finally, as long as Neighbors is back, I want to say I think he's back for sure.
He is. Yeah.
I thought he was for sure.
They do lose Andrew Thomas, which is a big loss. That left tackle. That's a big loss. But I'm with you. I kind of like the Giants plus 3.5. Like you said, hashtag DK partner.
That's one to bet right now, too. We don't always say that, but right now on the show, like if you like it, because there's a good chance it's going to go off 3. Like this number will probably go off 3. So get 3.5. Snyder will love us for this. He loves the CLV. Get in there on the Giants.
This is a real line. Like you can get it right now on DraftKings. Like 3.5. You can't get this. You can't get this pretty much anywhere else, like Tony said.
Nowhere else on the odds board that I see. I'm sure there's somewhere, but it's not even much used. So usually when you buy that half from 3 to 3.5, you're going to lay 120, 125. It's only 115 on DraftKings. That is how you price shop efficiently right there.
There we go. Efficient price shopping from Big T. I love it. ODB. He likes price shopping. Hell yeah, he's going to like it too. I can tell. But he's an Eagles guy, so I'm worried.
He better not like the Eagles. He's going to get my hat off if he does. Don't you do it, ODB.
I mean, this game is one of the games that I have circled that I really like. First on just the games, and then I'll do DFS. I've been on the Giants in previous weeks. I do like this team a little bit, but I do not like them at all this week. I like the Eagles this week. The Giants run a college offense. It's a lot of RPO, short passes. You're not going to drive the ball down against this Eagles team. Losing Andrew Thomas, huge. They have several defensive guys are a little banged up. I think the Eagles can have their way. I think they can.
I lost to Deshaun Watson.
Yes, I was just going to say, I think if they just go out and they just roll the ball out and they win that game by 20 and they're feeling good about themselves, that this might be a really good Giant spot. But because it was close, because they got criticized, because they didn't do the damn job that they were supposed to, I think they come in a lot more focused. I think it might help galvanize them a little bit. They saw Dallas get their ass kicked. It's now. I mean, this is the season for the Eagles. The Eagles have to win this game. So I think they come out and they do. And I love Saquon Barkley. He's this is revenge all over the place. Nick Sirianni, another guy who is just insanely petty, like Dan Campbell. So I could see him really doing everything he can to make sure that Saquon gets in the box. The last 2 weeks, I've early on, I just kind of build like my first rough draft of a fantasy lineup, and 2 weeks ago, I had Burrow, Higgins. When that smashed last week, I had Lamar Zay. This week, I actually started with Daniel Jones and Malik Neighbors. I think that they can they can do some things just because there's a lot of stars, like we said, on the slate this week. So Daniel Jones with his rushing has a lot of just floor, and I think they're going to have to rely on this quick pass game to Malik, and he's still not priced as a top 5 receiver, which he is. So I like them, and I like Barkley as a little, mini stack in that game. But I like the Eagles. The Eagles are a good football team. I know they're not what everybody loves, but they're a good football team, and this Giants team is still kind of a little collegey. So I like the Eagles. I like them quite a bit. And I knew I was going to be on an island here, but here I stand.
All right. ODB on the Eagles, me and Tony on the Giants. Giants defense has been playing pretty good too. I just want to give them a shout because they've been playing pretty good. 2,500 on DraftKings. They might be my favorite defense, like price included. 2,500 for defense. If you're playing DFS on DraftKings, kind of like that price tag for Giants D.
One thing too, just to talk about like with the flow chart, so the Giants have only given up one top 10 running back all year. And you just look at the projection. So he's the number 1 priced running back. Just talking projections. This is in flow chart. He's the 2, 4, 6, 8th projected running back point projection wise. So that's definitely liking the Giants D too a little bit. I don't see how you could pay 8,200, even if you like Philly, because how much we like the receiver, man, it's a tough click.
Yeah, and again, like you said, we got to spend down at some spots, so we're definitely going to have to spend down.
Owned though, too. He can't be owned because of the price too, so that kind of goes back towards playing.
True. Yeah,
I mean, it's not really a matchup or a flow chart play for sure. And yeah, I like some of the receivers we talked about a little more. And if there's some running back that we can find in the cheap range that we like, then I'm fine to pivot to that. I'm just saying in general, I think I just find the Eagles and Nick Sirianni to be a petty man. And I think that Saquon is really like, coach, you gotta get me in. But still at the same point, he could still have a good game and still not be worth 8,300. Or whatever he is. So, I mean, I'm totally fine fading him, but.
By the way, what was up with him, like, bringing his kid to the press conference after, like,
he's a weird fucking dude.
Like, what a puss. Unbelievable. Like, using your kid as a shield. Stop it. You deserve every Eagles fan yelling for your job at that point, or whoever's barking at you. That was terrible. I hate that shit. All right, let's go to the 4:00 games here. We got 3 games at 4. 2 good. Well, I don't know about great, but I think for DFS, we might have at least 1 good game here. I'll start with the bad game, though. Raiders and Rams, 7-point spread here. 43.5 total in this game, which I think is a little interesting here with the total. I kind of like the under here, 43.5. But Raiders coming off, obviously, trading Devontae Adams. That trade, 3rd round, whatever they got for him, that was terrible. But Tom Brady joins the ownership group there, so congrats to Tom Brady. What are we doing here? 7-point spread, ODB. It's a 43.5 total. See anything you like in this spot?
No, not really. I think that the Raiders are not a serious organization. And so the Raiders aren't a serious organization, not a serious team. Max Crosby, hurt, could play, might not. So it's hard to really like them. But the Rams, I don't know, are they even good enough to be laying 7 points? I don't even think there's going to be a home field advantage with the Raiders. The Raiders are still LA team. So yeah, I don't know. Just kind of a stay away here. I'm sure that some people are going to get off in this game, though. I mean, Trey Tucker put up a big old fat 0 last week, but he's still, the Rams are very bad at defense, and he's still WR1. So why can't we just play Trey Tucker to open up some salary?
Yeah. So for some reason, because I use DK Sportsbook app on my phone for all the starts. For some reason, that game wasn't on the list, so I had to reload my app.
Team. You forgot your favorite squad.
No, I forgot my favorite game. Literally, my favorite game. That's my favorite game of the week. It's me and ODB's battle. So I was definitely saving that, but I don't know why it wasn't.
We'll get to that once we get.
We won't forget it. I promise. We won't forget it because that's me against David Baker, and we got to go head to head there. But finish ODB.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think I'm looking for some salary relief because, like we've talked about, I want to play DK for sure. I want to play. I want to play maybe a couple good running backs, whether it's Bijan or not, whether it's Barkley or not. I want to play. I want to play Malik. Like I would love to get a piece of that Detroit, Minnesota. So I'm looking for salary somewhere, and I can get a WR1 that he might suck, but I don't know. I'm looking kind of at Trey Tucker maybe as like my mini punt after a 0 last week. But yeah, I don't really like this game. The Rams are good. Are a professional organization with a professional coach and a professional quarterback. The Raiders have none of those things, but 7 points seems like a lot to lay with a team with a bad defense. So,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel. 7 points seems like a lot here, but Tony, what are you thinking here with this game?
Oh man, maybe two of my least favorite teams in all of football. I think the Rams stink. I mean, Kyron Williams is going to be so popular this week. There's no way I'm playing him at. Again, I'm going to spend up at receiver. I just love those plays we talked about. I'm not spending up at running back. So I think that'll be some of the chalk I get off of because he's definitely going to be very popular. Cooper Kupp, I think I've heard pretty good reports. I didn't hear the Friday report, though. We usually get the big update on Friday. Did you guys hear anything about him? But
he's questionable. I think he has a good chance of playing, but
I saw a game time decision before we went on air.
At the same time, if you're the Rams, if he's really iffy, if it's actual questionable game time decision, why wouldn't you just give him one more week? You're playing the Raiders at home. You should be able to win this game in theory. I don't know. I don't know why you'd push it. So we'll see though. I feel like he's got a decent chance of playing though, in my opinion, unless it's really iffy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't love this game. I don't like the Rams. I definitely don't like Vegas. I mean, yeah, there's got to be points coming from somewhere. And the one guy that's just amazing is Brock Bowers. Tight end sucks. He just looks so freaking good every week that you just have to consider guys like him, especially at positions you can leverage the field. You can leverage the field big time at tight end with Brock Bowers, where if he gets 30, I mean, there's no other position that you can separate like that. I mean, it's just tight end is so bad. So you have to consider Bowers every week. I don't disagree with the receivers. I mean, Tucker, DJ Turner, whoever's in there really, because they have to throw. I think
Myers is out or doubtful.
Moo.
Myers, Jacoby Myers.
That's what I mean. These guys they have to be Trey Tucker has to be in play. Even though I don't love it, he has to be in play. So it could be like a one of those builds too that you flip the build and don't play some of the receivers we like, spend up at running back, spend down for a trade. Because Trey Tucker does have upside. He has a low floor, but he does have 25, 30 point upside in this game. He does. It's a tournament play for sure. So I like that. The Rams, I can't lay 7 with the Rams. I can't do it. So it's the Raiders or nothing for me here.
Same. Raiders under.
I don't like the Raiders though. I want that to be clear. It's if I have to pick. I won't be surprised if the Rams beat them up. I would have picked against the Rams again in almost every spot, but this is one of the few ones that is tough.
Yep. I agree. All right, let's go back to the 1:00 game that I skipped so we can get me versus ODB in our takes on Houston and Green Bay. It's a 2.5 point spread here in Green Bay. It's a 48 total. My team against ODB's team. So I assume I know where ODB is going, but let's just make sure we confirm it before we go any further. ODB, do you like your Houston Texans this week?
I mean, I want to like Houston. I think they're a better team when healthy. It's not a very good spot. They just played a road game in New England. Not that it was hard, but it's still a road game in New England. Travel all the way back to Houston. Got to go all the way up to Green Bay. Meanwhile, Green Bay just rolled out of bed, rolled the football out against Arizona and went home. Just a completely easy win. So it's not the best spot for Houston. We don't have our number one weapon in Nico. I'm just sitting here making a bunch of excuses why they're going to lose. I don't really love the spot, but, I have to stick to the priors that I think Green Bay is, an average good team. And I think Houston is a Super Bowl contender. So I guess I have to take the points here, but I really don't love the spot. So I'm not loving it, but I'm just going to lean in that this is a coin flippy game with two good teams and hope that the better quarterback gets it done and takes Stroud here. But it's not
so
like
I heard this
confidence.
is what I heard, people. I heard I don't know, tough spot, Super Bowl team against a not so great team. But I don't know, tough spot. But Super Bowl contender team. But, Tony, am I wrong here? Like, ODB should be like, I love the Houston Texans. I don't need the points. They're a Super Bowl contending team against a team that I don't think, even at full strength, is that good. I don't even think this Packers team makes the playoffs.
He's up on your Packers. He might be warming up. Last week he took the Packers. This week he's scared of the Packers. He might be warming up.
You
so
said
the NFL,
last week,
it's all about
last
spots,
week
man.
the Packers was my favorite play. I think it was we all picked the Packers.
We all had the Packers.
We all had the Packers. That was one of the easiest plays outside of the Lions, ODB's call on the entire slate, which we all had as well, I think. But Tony, please help ODB here and bring him to the right side of the coin here. Which side are you on? Come on, Big T.
I mean, I don't disagree with what ODB says. The funny thing, I like the over. The over is my play in this game. And I know it's a little bit of a hedge, but I don't have a side on the game. I'm only picking the stuff that I like. And I think this game goes to the wire. And I think there's points. I think both teams score. We're back to Houston putting points up because Houston's scoring. Let me pull up their exact scores. Houston score. They just haven't been scoring as much. 43 with the Bills. 44 against a terrible Jags team. They did score a bunch last week versus terrible Patriots. 41 in the Vikings game. I mean, they just haven't scored like I expect. I think this week, though, the Packers are a team, too, that'll get in a shootout. I think this game just shoots out for sure. And it's another game, though, where from the Houston side, I mean, Tank Dell is 6,500. Diggs is 7,700. Those are tough price points for those guys. I like Tank Dell, though, upside, but I don't know how you can get to those prices. And then the problem always with Green Bay is going to be, I mean, last week I loved Wicks, and freaking Christian Watson wasn't even supposed to play, and all of a sudden he goes off. And it's like they just have so many guys that I just don't know who you play. So this is more of a bets game, which we don't have to talk fantasy here anyways because we're going to do it Sunday. I don't like fantasy as much, even though I like the over, which is rare in these days. I don't see a ton I love.
Tell him, Frank. Let him know here. This is ridiculous. So I do this show every week, and this is what I have to deal with. I get these fucking guys. They make fun of me for my takes. I say that Green Bay is one of the better teams, Super Bowl contending team, and they're going to make the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. These guys make fun of me. Oh, they're not even going to make the playoffs. They can't even grab their fucking nuts and pick a team they think is a Super Bowl contending team against my Packers.
They. What's they?
You just said you agree with ODB
not
about
on
Houston
being a Super Bowl team.
Look,
I swear I just heard you say it.
This week I agreed with him.
This week.
Okay. I could sit here and I could
crazy.
Why? You could it's the NFL. No team wins every game. No team. Some teams are just in a better spot.
Pick the Packers. This is what I'm saying. I'm saying just pick the Packers. Just be like, hey, listen, this week the Packers are probably going to beat my Houston Texans. They're injured a little, but whatever you want to say. I don't care what the reason is.
If Jordan Reed was out and the Packers just went up and they played a game in Seattle and Houston was at home and had a cakewalk versus the Cardinals and slept in their own bed and got out and then rolled into Energy Stadium with their whole fleet of weapons, I would say, yeah, all in Texans. But the NFL is a spot league. I mean, there's a reason why I like the Giants versus the Seahawks. It's not because I thought they were better. It's a spot league. And I think this is a terrible spot for the Texans. That being said, I'm not gonna pussy out and say any, could be either way. I'm picking the Texans. You can come in and you can do your little victory laps next week when Jordan Love has a good game.
He's already getting ready for the Jordan Love victory laps. I love this. This is my favorite. Like, listen, I'll tell you right now, Terry Niehaus, this is not being soft. Soft is not making a stand on your pick. That is being soft, okay? It is that. What I'm doing is not being soft.
No, I think he's calling me soft. I think he's calling me soft, not you.
No, he said, don't be soft, LG. LG is me. He's calling me soft.
What is LG? Why are you LG?
What do you mean? That's
the little guy because we were at the crabs table. ODB. Gotcha. We were at the crabs table one night. And I fucking hate Tony right now. Look at his stupid ass smile on his face right now. And so I never played craps before. I never. And Tony's like
crabs or craps?
Craps.
I thought you were about to crack open some Maryland crabs.
No. I never played it before. And Tony's like, you got to play. I'm not playing if you don't blah, blah, blah. So I start throwing it or whatever. I hit a couple in a row. So, Tony, like he starts getting, here we go. Everyone's going nuts, blah, blah, blah. And then the fucking guy who works there literally just calls me LG out of nowhere. I'm like, fuck, just this random guy just calls me LG.
Get those dice back to LG. Get those dice to LG. And we were just loving it.
Now I'm in on the inside joke because somebody else he goes, let's go LG, ODB, and Big T. And I'm like, why doesn't JSU get any love here? I thought LG was like, let's go or something. Little guy.
Well, that's true. It could be let's go.
I like it.
I like it.
I would rather.
You know what? I'm gonna go with LG. I'm adopting LG too.
It is so good.
I hate it. I hate all of you. All right. Packers. We're taking the Packers here. I like Tony's take on the over too, but Packers. 2.5 point spread at home versus a team that's not better than them versus a team that I've told you guys for weeks, their defense is fraudulent. Jordan Love is just starting to get his feet under him a little bit. You can tell he's building up chemistry. He's getting better every single week, like I told you he was going to do. And I think that they roll. So Packers.
I think if you want to bet this game, if you like the Packers, I'd grab it at 2.5. And if you want to bet the Texans, yes. I think it's gonna hit 3. Everybody I'm hearing likes the Packers in this game. The 2.5 is a key number. If it goes down to 2, who cares? That means nothing. But it could go to 3. If you like Packers,
like half the places.
Yeah, I think DK Sportsbook, it's still 2.5. So
I think it's gonna get
grab.
I think it's gonna get to 3.
Yeah, I think it'll get to 3 over there too. I agree with you, ODB.
I'm also gonna wait. There's several Texans defensive guys that are questionable. I want to also see a little bit if anything happens there. If we get a couple ruled out or ruled in, that could sway it. It also could affect the line. And in these spots, like if the Texans move down to 2 or 1.5, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. 2 doesn't matter. But 3 matters a whole hell of a lot. So if you like Green Bay, take it. And if you like Texans, just hold on. If it goes to 2, it's not a big deal. But if it gets to 3 or you save some juice there, then that's pretty good for you.
These are always the spots, though. And I know people make fun of me for like these when I talk about these, but like you can literally take Houston +3 on let's just look. So where did I say you could get at FanDuel right now? You can get 8.5 Buffalo. So like tease Buffalo with Houston. And then you can take Green Bay -2.5. You got a nice little 6-point middle in a game that we think could be close. That's how I like to bet. I know people make fun of that. You got both sides, 6-point middle, and all you need is Buffalo to freaking beat Tennessee by 3. I love bets like that.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I mean, Jason ain't lying. Big nose for sure. What are you gonna do? It's the Armenian in me. Thanks, Jonte. Oh, that's NBA. Okay, my bad. I was confused for a second. Did you guys see that thing? I don't know if you guys saw that the NBA thing with Jonte Porter. If you didn't see it, pretty much DK FanDuel, the NBA asked these sports books to not post unders for these guys with two-way contracts. So these like guys that aren't making that much money. And I think that's what they're going to do for the Jonte Porter thing that happened last time. So Tony, I don't know. Do you have a take on that at all? Like, do you think that's annoying?
I think it's smart because they don't make, like, everyone assumes everyone makes a shit ton of money. Those two-way guys don't make a shit ton of money. And just in my head, I'm obviously not advocating for this, but you can make a little extra money betting some unders when you know you're in some of those spots. I think it's good. You don't need props on those guys anyways. You don't need a prop on the shitty guys. Just put props on the good guys.
That's true. Yeah. I think it annoys, like, it definitely annoys like the people like shout out Mangone, but like the grinders.
They're going to grind the edges, which that's perfect, Mangone. You should do that. I think it's awesome, but you don't need it. Let's just put ourselves in a neutral perspective where we're not trying to make, you don't need props on these freaking guys. Like, it's just, if I was one of those guys, I'd have, you can make a couple thousand easy, just betting under, you're not going to play much that night. It's easy money. Like that, no harm, no foul, but what do we have to do it for?
Yeah, I'm with you. I get why it's annoying for certain people, but you don't need to bet the Jonte Porters like 100%. Just say screw it. So I agree.
Dude obsessed with your nose anyways. What kind of dude obsesses with another dude's nose? I wouldn't be like, oh man, ODB, what's going on with your nose? Like, who talks about another person's nose? We're old dudes.
I mean, men don't talk about other men's features, period.
I've never analyzed your guys' ears or your nose. Like, what are we talking about?
But apparently, to Jason, it's a big issue. Is my nose?
I have analyzed
analyzing other dudes' features. I'm sure you.
I have analyzed LG's hairline that goes halfway down into his freaking forehead. That's the one thing that I have noticed. His hairline goes all the way down here, while mine goes all the way up.
That's right, bro. It's gonna be a long time before I get the LeBron. It's gonna be a long fucking time before I get the LeBron. No way. Absolutely not. All right, there we go. Hashtag don't be Jason. Let's move on. 2 more games left here that I left. I'll leave the primetime game for later.
You're using your actual account, not your burner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if I respect it more or less. Just fire it in there under the.
No, I respect it more for sure. Like you just for sure. The burners I don't respect at all. All right. Carolina in Washington here, 9-point spread, 51.5 is the total in this spot here. I saw something about Deontay Johnson. I wanted to confirm it. Someone said he was out. I think he's out too. So what are we doing here?
I saw before that he was not out, that he's just
I saw Adam Schefter report.
Oh yeah,
he's out.
It was just as we were coming on though, like literally just as we were coming on, I saw it pop up.
Yeah, I'm gonna double check it here while you guys get in, but I'm pretty sure I saw Shefty tweet it. But either way, the spread's 9. Washington coming off a loss. What are we doing here? They're at home against Carolina, who's been terrible. It's 51.5 total too, which is really high. I mean, Tony, do you like anything here?
It's just more of the same. Again, we're talking about winners, but you pull up the odds screen. Washington is 9.5 across the board, 8.5 at FanDuel. We don't like FanDuel because we're a DK partner, but you can get Buffalo. They're just baiting you, basically. FanDuel is. No other site's giving it. At FanDuel, you can tease Buffalo and Washington below the 3, and that is just such a good bet because Washington is going to pound Carolina. One of my favorite games of the week. Washington's for real. They're a good team with a good quarterback, and Carolina sucks, and Deontay might be out. I don't see how this isn't a blowout. This game has to be a blowout. Give me Washington. Give me Washington big.
I love it. Jason likes to spit in dudes' faces, too. He likes to analyze dudes' features and spit in their faces, too. You like getting spit back? Huh, Jason? You like that from other dudes? Relax there before I fucking throw your ass out of the show. ODB, what do you like here? Is it Washington? It's probably Washington, I would assume. I know you guys don't like Andy Dalton at all.
I mean, this Carolina injury report is long. They're not very deep team as it is. They got a lot of guys banged up. The team sucks. They can't stop anybody. Jason Bailey was banned. Jess, you just ain't taking it.
Get fucked, Jason. Get out of here. I let the nose comment go. I literally will let anyone say just about anything. But once you start talking about, I don't get it. Like, people just either shut the fuck up and listen or leave. Like, you can not like me. I don't care if you like me. You can even shit on my nose. I got a big nose. Fuck it. Like, I don't care. All Armenians have big noses. We all have big noses. It's a fact.
Your nose.
Don't look at any other Armenian dude if you like that shit.
Don't worry about it, JSU. Your nose looks fine. You know whose nose doesn't look fine? Anybody who's going to take Carolina and just watch this Washington team move up and down the field. I don't know. It's hard to take Carolina seriously. Washington, I mean, the only question I can have is that Washington is coming off of a game against Baltimore. It's still a young team. It's still a team that may not be able to get up for the dregs like Carolina, but I just got to trust that Carolina is just not a serious team and Washington is, and that they go and they just take care of business. I like Washington here. I'm considering survivor options that I'm going to talk to you guys about at the end of the show, but Washington strongly in my consideration there. So yeah, I like it's Washington or nothing for me. I'm not playing Carolina, that's for sure.
Shout out to Dub KJ. That guy knows how it's done. I'm with you guys on Washington. I think it's a Washington spot here. I don't know how Carolina is going to be able to like stop the offense. Like, I think every time Washington touches the football, it's probably points. Can Carolina, score a little bit? Maybe. Like, Washington lost one of their better linemen defensively, but now they lose Deontay Johnson. I don't know.
I mean, if Johnson's out, you can play Leggett. I mean,
yeah, I think so too. Leggett played a lot last game too. He played.
They're going to have to throw. Yeah, they're going to have to throw a lot if so.
You're probably just friggin' $5K now. He's not.
Well, I was just going to say we need cheap receivers, Tony. This Jalen Coker, $3K flat. He played.
Not playing guys like that. Like, receivers so good.
I know, but I need
Jalen Coker on a week. We love receivers.
I need cheap plays though. So I need to be able to fit
the tight end who's actually the best receiver, Jatavian Sanders. Those guys, those guys on Sunday were making. Who'd they say? Ian Thomas is back, guys on the wood. They're like, Ian Thomas is back.
I remember that.
Ian Thomas is back.
And Sanders was good. He had like 9 fantasy
2,900. That's where you save tight end.
Okay.
Tight end.
That makes sense. I
just Coker though at a loaded. Don't get me wrong. You can always play a 3K receiver.
All I'm saying is he's 3K and he ran the most. Yeah. I think the second most routes. Or something like that. I'm going to double check.
I just think it's such a clear-cut week, though. We love Amon-Ra. We love Jefferson. We love some of the. I know. How am I going to play Jalen Coker when these guys are on the slate?
No, you're not. I'm just trying to find
29 routes, and that's third on the team last week.
I mean, the question is, if a 4,300 Tyrone Tracy opened up or something, it's different. But I mean, I'm not even. No, he was a couple weeks ago. But my point is, I don't really see like the running back unless by chance like Aaron Jones gets ruled out and you get Ty Chandler, but he's probably still in the 5,000, mid fives. There's no cheap running backs is the problem. So
you're right. Yeah.
So if there's no cheap running backs and we're playing a receiver, it's like, what are we going to do? We're going to play like, a $5,500 Austin Eckler or something. I mean, like that's still not even cheap. It's like you have to save money somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though, is like I'm gonna need multiple paths with these cheap guys. It can't just be tight end and defense and running back. Like there's no cheap running backs either.
There's no cheap anything. There's no cheap merchant, slot merchant guy. There's no cheap running back that gets in because of a late season.
I don't know if we're going to be able to build lineups with 4 stud receivers is the point, Tony. Like you're going to have to build lineups with like probably
I guess Elijah Moore.
3.
I guess it's Elijah Moore. I mean, he's $1,000 cheaper than Trey Tucker. But so, I mean, it's like Elijah Moore, Trey Tucker. Like, I don't even know where we're going after that.
What's annoying with Elijah Moore is he's going to get ownership. Like,
right. And who wants a high owned Elijah Moore? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I'm just,
like, for example, though, like for ODB's example, you say you play because Danny Dimes is one of the cheaper quarterbacks. If you play him and Neighbors against Philly and you play Jatavian Sanders at 2,900 and you play a punt defense, you're still at like 6,400 for the rest of your team.
Yeah. Yeah. It just means you have to have, you just have to have one kind of punty guy, You
guys are right about running. We need one value running back to open up somewhere.
There's just not one value running back.
Right now. There isn't even close to one either.
Not, I mean, like Sermon's not on the report and Taylor just got ruled out. But he's not even cheap. Yeah, he's not even cheap. He's like mid fives or something, right?
Let's hope.
Yeah, he's like 5,800.
Pierre Strong though, 4,800. Pierre Strong against Cincy, like that could be like a play.
Maybe. I do think he plays more than Nick Chubb. Like I don't think Nick Chubb plays like a ton.
I don't even think Nick Chubb like plays hardly at all. I think they just get him into the mix just a tiny.
Yeah, no, I think they give him
if he's even active.
I think they give him like 5 touches, 8, maybe like 8 touches at most. I don't think he gets like a ton of work or anything like that. But yeah, maybe Pierre Strong is the play. Yeah, I don't know.
They say Kareem Hunt. Oh, they're saying Chubb is that. I mean, Chubb, he might have been ruled out too. Again, we're doing the show during.
Chubb's out. Oh, I didn't see that.
If he's out, I mean, Pierre Strong at under 5K is definitely.
It literally won't have. Who's their other running backs that they have in Cleveland?
Is Foreman there still?
He's got to be there.
So. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he's there. So it's him and Pierre Strong. Pretty much.
I like Pierre Strong in a trailing script a decent amount.
Yep.
All right, let's get on to the best game of the day.
All right, let's do it here. Dub KJ, sorry, he wanted us to just give us the take here earlier in the show because he thought we'd all be on one side. We'll see if we're all on one side here. San Francisco, KC, it's 1.5 point spread in San Francisco. Rematch of the Super Bowl here. Big T, ODB. What are we doing here? Are we riding the Chiefs in San Francisco? Or are we going back to our roots with San Francisco as the winner? Who we got, ODB?
No, I'm letting Big T go first here.
Oh, all right. After you.
I was excited for you to go first because man, this game.
I already know where I'm going. Let's see where you're going.
Believe me, this game, I have nightmares of this freaking game because I've lost so much money when these two teams play, like infinite money when these two teams play in Super Bowls, and I'm haunted from it. I want to just pick San Francisco. I really do. I feel like San Francisco should win, but they just haven't looked great. Jordan Mason's banged up. I just can't physically pick San Francisco over Kansas City, even though Kansas City's looked terrible. They got none of their players healthy. I just can't pick San Francisco against them. They just get owned every time. So I don't love it, but I'm picking the Chiefs because JSU won't let me hedge. He said I got to take a pick. So I'm picking the freaking Chiefs, even though I'm not happy about it.
Juju is going to be very popular too, I think, as a receiving play in DFS. So
I hate this game.
If you want to chase that, good luck to you. ODB, who do you got here? Big T's on the Chiefs. You said you already knew who you like. So which way are you going?
Man, I'm so disappointed in Big T. What the fuck, man?
I might be on the Niners by the end of
this. What has this show become? Come on, man.
I hate losing to Mahomes. I'm tired of it.
I'm tired of it too. But
to him.
Me too. And you know what?
He beat us with no receivers. Literally, he beat us with no receivers.
We got to keep doubling up. All right.
And then when we're right 1 week, we can victory lap on there.
Yeah, exactly.
We told you. We knew they were going down.
You know what? I cannot. If I picked the Chiefs and the Niners won this game, I couldn't live with that. So I'm just going down with the ship. I'm taking the better coach, the better quarterback, the better skill position players. I'm taking the Niners. They're at home. They have the better quarterback, the better coach, the better skill position players, the better line. Everything's better. This game is this is an easy game. The Niners are a better football team.
Doesn't
and you know what?
Like never lose off a bye too, though.
But the Niners are off a mini bye. So the Niners are off a mini bye. What's the difference? Look, the Niners need this game. They're 3-3. They lost to this team in the Super Bowl when they had no business losing to them. This is a kitchen sink revenge. Pull out every stop in the book. Kyle Shanahan has been working plays in this game for 6 months. Andy Reid has been watching film and making fucking State Farm commercials. This is Niners big. Niners are going to win this game. I don't see anywhere where the Chiefs are better except the Voodoo, and that's it. They got the Voodoo. That's it. And they have the refs. Obviously, we always have to battle.
The Voodoo and the ref is powerful.
The Voodoo and the refs is very powerful. I will admit that those are two things hard to overcome, but I love the Niners here. This is a great spot. It's not like if the Niners were like 5-0 and the Chiefs were 3-3, then yeah, I might like the Chiefs here. But you think the Chiefs are going to go out and empty the bag on the Niners? If they lose this game, it's not a big deal. They're going to hold a little back for the Super Bowl. They know they might play this team again. The Niners going to empty the clip. It's balls out this week, and that's the team I want to bet on. I want to bet on the team that needs it, wants it, studied for it. 6 months in the making has been this game. Give me the Niners.
I will break the tie. I am going the Chiefs.
Wow.
Off a bye. I just can't. I can't not go with the Chiefs here off a bye. And they've just been winning. I told myself this year I just was not going to get owned by Mahomes week after week after week. And I just refused to get owned by Mahomes here again as a road dog off a bye. So I know it's shocking to everyone here. But one play I will say for DFS, I'm not spending up a tight end. But if you spend up a tight end, everyone's going to spend up for Brock Bowers. And I understand why. But one of the more consistent tight ends all year so far has been George Kittle. Tight end has not been a good tight end has not been a good position from a fantasy standpoint anyways. And George Kittle has been crushing. And I think against this Chiefs defense, he's going to have another good spot here to kind of crush in the middle. We've seen some tight ends go off against the Chiefs. I think that George Kittle could have another big game. I hope he doesn't for my best ball teams because I don't have any.
I'm with ODB. I can't live with myself. I'm back on the Niners, baby.
Yes.
Screw the Chiefs. Where's our dancing gift?
Let's
Get our
go.
dancing gift back. Look at these rosters. I can't pick Juju against this team.
We say this every year. We say this every year.
No, I don't care. We're going to victory lap it. I'm back, baby.
Yes, let's go, Big T. I was so disappointed in you, and now I'm so proud of you.
Big T's jump ship. There we go. Dub KJ, you got what you want, bro. There we go. Big T has jump ship. All right, that's all.
Then we can victory lap JSU next week.
Yes, you can victory lap me next week. Yes, the Niners roster. Before we get out of here, ODB, do you have you've had a couple weeks in a row of like favorite games that haven't been on the main slate? Or, is there a game this week that tickles your fancy?
No, not really. I mean, I don't know. I want to like the Jets again, but somebody please talk me off that ledge. But no, I don't really. I don't really have anything that's like must love. I do want to talk Survivor. I know most people are out of Survivor, but I'm not, and I have one entry left of the 200 left in Circa out of 14,000. So playing for 14 million. And man, I don't know where to go this week. I think that I've got there are 4 spots that I can go. I can go Buffalo versus Tennessee. Obviously, it's the biggest number, but I'm worried about this spot and the popularity, and there's future value with Buffalo. I can go Washington versus Carolina. They're going to be semi-popular, pretty popular, actually. They may even be the most popular, but I think it's like as good a spot as you can hope for to get a Washington team. I can go Rams. They're going to be a little bit less popular than those other 2, but they're also not a very good team. So, and this Raiders team, just when you think that they could be good, they suck. And when you think they're probably dead, they seem to jump up. And the last one I'm considering is Jacksonville Jaguars, who is a terrible team that might have quit, but they stayed over in London and going to play a New England team, which is really, really bad. I can get a bad team out of the way before like the team completely caves and starts trading away players and all that stuff. If they're ever going to go, it's this week. So anyway, you guys have any opinions on which one you would stay away from or where you'd go there?
First of all, having one team left out of, what did you say, 14,000 entries?
Yeah, 14,000.
That's pretty crazy right there. 200 people. I don't want to choke you up too much because we can't talk ourselves up too much on the show. You might get some hate like me. You might get a guy telling you he's going to spit in your face or something like that. But I will just say that's really impressive right there to have one line, especially because those first couple weeks were like murderer's row with
every
some
week
of just
except for last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right. So
I would be out. I would have already lost like 4 times. So I'm definitely.
Well, I had multiple entries. This is the one that survived. So
still though, even if you had multiple, I'd be out.
Yeah.
No matter how many I had, I can promise you I'd be out.
Yeah.
I like Jacksonville this week. I know it sounds insane, but they stayed over there. New England, I think, is still probably the worst team in football. It's tough. You got to like bite down and close your eyes, but as far as long-term profitability, I like Jacksonville, as bad as that is to say.
And like for them, a London game isn't. They're used to being over there, more or less. Like they've been.
I mean, they are because they've been over. Weren't they? Were they not just there? Or
they were there last week, but I'm saying like in general, they've been going there yearly for like the last.
Yeah, they
week.
didn't
They're
go
used
home.
to it. They didn't go home.
Got to be a huge edge just to be over there all week too.
Yeah.
And New England's terrible. Like their defense is horrible.
The issue is Jacksonville sucks too, but at least it's versus New England and they've been over there. But
I mean, if
some chances.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going to be low owned. I don't think people feel confident in them. So that's kind of what I was thinking. I'm not sure I can get my partner involved on board, but
no one is picking them.
I'm leaning. I don't know. I'm talking to him after the show, but
do you guys have Washington in play?
Yeah, we have Washington. Yeah, it's Washington or Jacksonville for me personally. I'm off the Bills just because the spot, plus I want to keep them because it's the Bills. You can play them almost any week.
I assume Washington's one of the more popular picks this week, right?
Yeah. Washington, the Bills, and the Rams are all going to be pretty popular. Jacksonville's not. That's kind of why I was leaning them. But at the same time, I mean, if I knew that they weren't quitting on their coach and wanting to get him fired, then it would be a slam dunk Jacksonville for me. I'm just a little scared that there might be a mutiny in the locker room. But I don't know. I think I want to try to get him on Jacksonville. I don't know if he kind of gets a little scared of these spots.
Was it last week or the week before talking about possibly like online talking about sitting Trevor Lawrence for Mac Jones? Like, trust me, you do not want that to happen.
No,
like if that happens, Jacksonville's in big trouble if that happens. So you do not want that here. I'll tell you right now. So, all right. Well, good luck to you there. Hope you pick the winner in that one contest. Guys, hope you enjoyed the show. RPS 15% off. I think we're going to have probably an NBA promo coming out. Tony, I don't know if this is a fact. Tony would know more than me. He's the actual boss. So, Tony, are we going to have a promo coming for NBA?
No, I was going to ask you.
Damn you. Are we going to have a fucking promo code for NBA?
Probably not.
Yes, there's always a promo code. It's RPS.
All right. Well, RPS 15 will probably have a promo code at some
Give
point.
him a promo code, Tony.
It starts on Tuesday. So
the funny
Tony
part
will
is
probably
it's actually like his department, not mine. We always make jokes. This
his
is him.
department. My department
This
is to
is
make
him.
sure that there's fucking shows and content and everyone knows what they're doing. That's my department. Okay. Tony's department.
Everyone knows what they're doing. Exactly.
I hate you so much. All right, whatever. We'll have a promo, but right now, RPS 15. By the way, too, if you guys get off the show and the next 3 people that use that code and join up, we'll give you guys a free t-shirt / hat.
There we go. See, I like
so
that.
the next 3 people, all you have to do too is when you sign up, send a screenshot of it to me or Big T, and we'll hook you up with a free t-shirt or hat or both.
You can have one of these hats if you want it too.
Bang. Next 3 people that use that code, sign up, and then hit us up on Twitter. We'll hook you guys up with some gear. So RPS 15 is that promo code. Get in 15%. Make sure you get in the Discord too. We got all the sports, and that will go for any package, monthly or weekly. You sign up. First 3 people that sign up, we'll hook you guys up with some gear. For Big T.
Before you get out, if the Niners win, I'll give something away next week to people who watch. So you got to come back and watch. The Niners have to win and cover. Whatever the closing line is, they got to win and cover.
There you go. All right.
If the Niners win, we'll give away a little something next week. But I need the Niners to cover. So take that, AP, and all you Chiefs lovers out there.
There we go. Nice. Kevin says Wiley owes you a hat. You better go collect. You better hit up Wiley, even though he's not the hat guy. If you need gear, you got to actually hit up Big T / Amber Niehaus, because she's the one that holds and sends out all the gear. So when you guys, if you sign up, we're going to send you literally to her. You're going to hit her up with a DM. Just say, hey, listen, I'm whatever size you are, medium or large, whatever, for a t-shirt. And then we'll hook you up. And you'll get her the information, stuff like that. So again, RPS 15, hit the like button on the show. We'll be back Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, me, Big T, and Wiley for Morning Wood, DFS, main slate talk, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Until then, for Big T and ODB, I'm JSU. Good luck to everyone in the contest. We're out. Peace.